Hey guys, I'm testing here a small script logic for these RCP panels from a 747, and as a setup I have only a 28 volt DC for the panel, 5 volt for the backlights, my own Arinc card, which I'm using only a single receiving channel. It's the only thing required for this radio. And you can see this guy here is blinking, telling me that the channel 4 is receiving labels from the radio, and is actually green color because it's Arinc low speed. In this case, part of the setup is as well I'm using on the laptop. I'm running PSX and my own mapping code to software to actually map this card with PSX. Wiring wise is very simple. As you can see, only power lines, and probably the most important one is this source direction ID strap. This is required because basically in the real aircraft you have 3 radios, and all 3 radios are connected between each other also using Arinc, which makes it very convenient. This is because changing the frequency on one radio would actually propagate into the other ones. As you can see here, I should be able to change all 3 systems plus these 2 systems, HF systems. So basically this is telling, you know what, you have all these 3 radios together, but I'm getting all the data from this particular radio, and all of this comes only on one single receiving Arinc 429. So the radio is actually sending quite a bit of labels, one for active, one for standby for all 3 systems, plus also the HFs. And the labels are coming in different formats. For example, standby is coming as a BNR, but active is coming as a BCD. So the way of handling those are slightly different. And as you can see here, I can change the frequencies, change active and standby, and the same I should be able to do with the right one. There it is, and then the same with the HF. If I select HF here, you will be able to see. Yeah, exactly. Also, HF has this additional function, AM. This comes as a discrete label, which bit 14 will actually let you know that this is enabled or not. And the same would happen with our radio. As you can see, pretty simple. I think that the radios are super nice. They already provide everything you need to do full integration of it in a very simplistic way. The way I'm doing the logic is I'm using Python, and after many years of using different parts, at the beginning I've been using C++. I found this extremely practical from the user perspective to do all the manipulation one can wish in a very simple way. As you can see here, put effort to do an API. So I have a Python API for this card and a Python API for PSX as well. So I can very simple access those values. As you can see here, this is coming from the Arinc. So from the RCP panel, which I already mapped with the right channel and everything. And I just want this label, VHF-L standby, and then I want the value. Very simple. And then this is what I was mentioning before. So each label probably requires different handling, and the standby one, so this one, comes as a VNR, and to save amount of bits, basically the value comes reduced because the range is actually determined, right, and is limited. So basically what happens is that sending all this number as a number in a label would be would use too many bits unnecessarily. But what they do is they actually, when you see this number, basically this represents 0, and then you add this offset. So in this way you just save, instead of using too many bits, you can survive only with 15 bits to represent just this tiny variation. The rest is actually added with the offset, and you will see that the same happens with the other labels, like the active one that comes as a BCD requires an offset, but of a different type. So having this type of interface makes the handling of these particular labels very easy, as well as do the right formatting of how PSX wants it. As you can see, this is just a number, but then it's converted into a string because it's how PSX wants it, right, in the end. Finally, after setting everything, then this is actually being updated on the Q code, so then everything is reflected on PSX. But as you can see here, some very important or very practical part is that in case of discretes, I'm able to assign names to the bit level. So I know that the bit 14 is actually the AM function, and I'm able to access this as just with a simple name rather than handling bits in the end. So very easy to do that, and actually this return a true false, so I can access as many as bits inside of a discrete label, and all this will be in the background being updated automatically. So this is what I'm using as a logic, and as you can see, not that complicated, just adding numbers and assigning values, and probably it's long mainly because it needs to be updated on all 3 radios in PSX. Yeah, that's all. I hope that you like it, and I will be probably doing another video on this Arinc card about more about the features and what can be done with it. And I think the last part of this project would be to tell PSX that I'm switching off the radio. That's the last part that is actually missing. The rest seems to be running really nice and smooth. If you have any questions on this, or Arinc card, or the actual radio itself, don't hesitate to ask. I will be happy to help. Yeah, I hope you like it, and until the next one.